Hey guys, so here bringing you another video. Now, welcome to episode 2 of Spectating Viewers. So you guys actually really enjoyed episode 1. And episode 1 was a gold promo game from memory. Episode 2 is a little bit different. We're actually in higher rating. So this is Shmion. Some of you might have heard me talking about him. He's our actual resident Yone main in the community. A lot of people poke fun at him. It's all in good jest, obviously. But he's like, he can be master occasionally, normally in Diamond 1. This game, he's in Diamond 2. After actually kind of weirdly, you know, not weirdly, but solo queue is about ups and the downs. He went from Diamond 1 to Diamond 3. And now he's on his way back up to Diamond 1, this game in Diamond 2. Now, he said to me, because he, you know, basically I'm choosing live viewers to be selected to do these. I've got 2 or 3 more to do. Shmion was one of those players, so I'm getting his done. And what actually interested me specifically in this game is, one, he said it was a good one to watch, but I struggle versus Vlad. You know, I will just say that. I do. I find it hard to punish a Vladimir in lane, and then obviously it's a Vladimir who becomes an absolute monster, and it's like, oh god, he's just going to win the game. So obviously, I doubt Shmion's going to punish a Vladimir as Kayle, because, you know, it's a Vlad and it's Kayle early game. But Kayle also scales incredibly well. So maybe that's the angle of play another kind of hyper carry like Kayle and see what you can do. Now, what I would expect, especially that the Vladimir's gone phase rush ghost, I would expect the Vlad to have relatively high pressure over the Kayle. Now, it is worth knowing, I recently haven't played Kayle much top lane. I'm not playing much top at the moment. Whenever I've played Kayle, I do play it mid. But in theory, that this matchup should be relatively the same. Yeah, this is Diamond 2 on EU West at the moment. There might be the occasional Diamond 1 player in this match. There could be Diamond 3s. But Shmion right now is Diamond 2. Runes, by the way, a Flying Grim. Pretty standard, so lethal tempo, didn't go PTA. PTA, press the attack, is the other option you can run on Kayle if you wanted a bit of a stronger early game. But, you know, in all likelihood, lethal tempo very often is just the better thing to do. The reason being is you're not playing Kayle to win early game. Yes, if you do win early game, it's kind of nuts. But you are playing Kayle to get to the late game to become the absolute monster. And lethal tempo is just better for that. You get the increased attack range, which is nuts, right? So, so far, I will say, I've not been just kind of noticing the Vlad is not punishing that much. Hey, Airide, hey, Heidi, how you both doing? The Vlad isn't really doing much pressuring. Whenever I lane against a Vladimir, near in the early game, every single Q is on you, on you, on you. And that's not really happening in this game, which is a bit weird. Hey, Ace. So Shmion is actually surviving lane phase quite well. He's actually managing to stay in the minion wave. Now you're seeing the Vladimir do a little bit of auto-attacking. Oh, sorry, not auto-attacking. A bit of damage on the Kayle. But honestly, it might sound bad. I don't think the Vlad's done enough. Shmion's doing a really good job farming. Like, let's be honest, he's ahead in farm, which is fantastic as a Kayle. And he's level 4 already without any problem. Yes, you could argue that, you know, the Echo hasn't decided to go top lane, which is quite rare, you know, especially with, you know, apparently I'm a curse. But really good positioning, actually. Bad by the Vladimir to not kind of be there at the right time. So there was a gank, but completely avoided. Really nice play by Shmion to kind of just walk away, don't look to fight it, just use his W movement speed and just run. Echo didn't have flash up, so there was no full commitment there. And weird enough, the Echo, I'm pretty sure, saw Kayle put the ward down and he based in the bush. So now Kayle, Shmion has complete knowledge of Echo's gone. One little tip if you're a jungler out there is don't make it obvious if you've based. Because then there's always that mental of your opponent going, is the jungler gone? Are they not? Well, 100% Shmion knows right now they are gone. So it just basically helps your enemy a little bit by giving them information you shouldn't really be giving them. All right, so gank coming in here. Vladimir was going a bit aggro, pops Ghost with phase rush. Literally one of the fastest things probably in the game at that point. You're not going to catch that Vladimir anytime soon. So, yeah. Mid lane, again, weird to see a Pyke mid lane. Generally, the only players that you see playing Pyke mid are mains of it. Kayle is re-ganking. Nice W for the Kayle. Is tanking minions, so has to be a little bit careful here. I would want Shmion to maybe go over, but I'm guessing it just doesn't feel like the kill is quite on at the moment. Flash E, Flash E. Nope. Yes, there we go. Flash E, really nice kill. by Shmion. That's what I was expecting him to do. And again, that's a pretty huge kill. Now, also, well done, Shmion. This is something that I always need to get better at, is lane control. What is Shmion doing right here? He is basing as Kayle pre-6. You do not have lane prio. He's based. And he's done it to make the wave continue to push into his territory. That is really good. What often I would do, because I'm an absolute pleb, I will probably, he's now TPing back to top lane, I'll probably push the wave before I go back, and then I'll return to lane, and my lane's probably either in the mid, or it's probably pushing into the enemy. He's got it now in complete control just before he hits level 6. So he's now going to get level 6 completely for free. It doesn't even matter if Echo's going to come top lane, because he's so close to his own tower, they can't do anything. And even Vladimir now has to play a little bit scared because he's now overextended in the lane without any sums. So that's actually really smart by Shmion. I like that. And again, it's one of my areas that I've never been too strong on, is lane control, or like, you know, adjusting the minions and, you know, using the minions to where you want them to be and why. And yeah, he also gains an XP lead because now you can deny XP from the Vladimir. Everything about that was spot on. So well done to Shmion. That is a good thing to do, and obviously I have noticed, so well done there. He's now level 6. He's above XP on the Vladimir. I think we just saw the Vladimir jump into that bush up in the top there. And there he is. But so Shmion's gone tier 2 boots early. I do not mind that at all. Why? So Kayle is an auto-attacking champion predominantly. You're against a Vladimir, as we saw earlier with Phase Rush Ghost. If he pops those things, you are not catching this Vladimir. So just to kind of give you a little bit more of a chance to actually attack him a couple more times than you normally would, rushing that tier 2 boots like there gave maybe 1, maybe 2 more auto attacks than you normally would get, because the Vlad's quick. You know, he's going to run away out of your auto range. So I actually quite like that. Build by Shmion. I don't know exactly what build he's going to do. Is he going to do, you know, he's against, if you look at the enemy comp, Vlad is AP, Echo's AP, Fizz is AP. Is he going to do the Wits End rush build? Is he going to do the Nash's just rush build? We'll have to see. I actually don't know which one he's doing. Mid lane seems to be going pretty bad for the Pyke mid. Honestly, I don't know, you know, I'm not too surprised. I do think Pyke mid isn't the strongest pick. You know, without being whatever's, it is a support. You know, it's balanced to be a support, not a mid laner. So in actual raw strength, you know, assassin versus assassin, it has less strength than other assassins. And practically, you know, it's what I've always said, just play it in support. The same job you are doing, your nice little autos there, you are doing the execute damage, you are doing potential some roams in support. So, yeah. So someone was saying, like, how did Shmion know that Echo is potentially top lane? I think that is just, honestly, it's something that is, it's hard to, like, it's hard to, like, educate or, like, make people learn that. It's tracking the enemy jungler of where do you think they're going to be and why. Sometimes you can do it off what your jungler's doing, and, you know, if you're kind of, are both junglers going to be aligned, or the junglers doing opposites of each other, you can kind of work out sometimes. Sometimes it's just gut feeling. Oh, my bot lane's dead. Well, the jungler's not going to be down there. Mid lane, the Fizz is kind of winning already. Doesn't really need to go there. Echo's probably going to be top. It's stuff like that that you can kind of just sometimes work out. And you'll just gain that through experience more than anything else. But yeah, farm-wise, to be even with a Vladimir at 9 minutes, honestly, is pretty good going. Obviously, yes, Vladimir technically is not a lane bully himself, but Vladimir's, you know, I've said it from the beginning of the season, that champion, he's not weak in the early game. You know, yes, he's not a lane bully, but for what is a late game hyper carry type champion, he's probably too strong in the early game, is the way that I would probably word it. I wouldn't have taken that trade when he had the empowered Q, so even though Kayle got a lot of autos on, it's still technically a negative trade for Kayle. And obviously, Vladimir's got his farm, his sustain that, you know, he's going to sustain after the trade. So it does seem, well, I still think he's going the Nash's build first, is Shmion, which I will say, you know, I'm fine with that. Nash's gives you the most DPS in the early game, but Wits End wouldn't be bad either. But yeah, yeah, Ashes is making that point too. It also makes sense. Also, you have to think of it. You are playing Kayle. The enemy team knows you're playing Kayle. They do not want to give you a free early game, right? So Echo, the jungler, would want to try and stop that too. And it's by the way of two things. One, you're stopping a Kayle scaling for free. but also you're helping your Vladimir scale as well. It's kind of a win-win. It's kind of like those situations that we sometimes spoke about, that if you've got a Renekton top lane in solo queue, you're a jungler, honestly, you should probably gank for that Renekton. You know, it might sound weird because, oh, I'm ganking for someone that doesn't scale, but that's the point. If Renekton doesn't win lane, it's a really bad situation. So if you gank a few times and actually start making him snowball, then a Renekton can snowball and win you the game in solo queue. But if a Renekton goes even, let's say to a Jax or a Camille or something, that's a disaster. But this type of situation isn't even like they're both early game, they're both late game hyper carry. So Kane's been there a little bit, Echo's been there a little bit, probably because they're both late game hyper carry champions. If I help my one a little bit, then that's a good situation. Pyke actually gets a solo kill on Fizz. That's actually quite huge. And little momentum shifts can always change even in mid. Ah, okay, never mind. I think Fizz just might have disconnected during mid-combat. Maybe that's what happened, because I was actually a bit surprised that Pyke got that kill, if I'm completely honest. There's a big play happening in bot lane, by the way. They're trying to weirdly tower dive. Again, it is a Draven lane, and Dravens obviously always play very aggressive. And yeah, they just got punished for that. That's another thing, you know, if you have a Draven against you, for example, you know he's going to play aggressive. So if you're a jungler, you can just gank that and counter gank the aggression. It's the exact same like we mentioned earlier. Renekton, you know he's going to play aggressive in the early game because he has to. So if you're the enemy jungler to a Renekton, you can make your top laner bait out the aggression and then counter gank Renekton's aggression and punish that knowledge that he has to be aggressive early. There's all these like little counters obviously in gameplay that you can always use to your advantage. But so far, obviously it's Kayle. It's never going to be the most exciting early game. Because that's not what this champion's about. But really, really good farm. Nearly 100 farm already. Very even with the Vladimir, but that is not a bad thing at all. Is making their way, obviously, both of these champions to their first items. I think the Vlad is going Hex Rocket Belt, or whatever the hell it's called. And Kayle, I think Shmion is actually going for the Nashers, which I will say does show a bit of confidence by Shmion, because, again, like I mentioned, you're against a Vlad. You're likely only to be really ganked by an Echo, and if anything else is going to gank you, it's a Fizz, who's also AP. That's triple AP. Zeri gets herself a double kill. Gank coming in by Kayle to mid lane. Fizz sees this and decides to go a little bit all in. Would have maybe been better. Oh, flash by Shmion, not sure about that one. A little bit too far away. Getting the auto attacks off, but by the time he gets here, he's going to have troll pull or flash, and he's away anyway. Oh, lovely hook, but that gets the Pyke killed. Unfortunate no ultimate by Shmion, but this should be a dead Fizz. One more. There we go. Technically worth the gold because Pyke died, but you gain an assist, and you're giving gold to a Kayle, which is never, ever a bad thing. Zeri is, by the way, getting quite fed. Just reminding people, I had a Zeri in my game yesterday, I think. Some Zeris are still building the bruise away. Please, please, please know that the build has changed. Riot wanted Zeri to be an AD carry, and then because of her kit kind of was a little bit broken, she was doing some weird bruiser on hit build. They have now made her an AD carry. You have to do crit. Like, do not do the old bruiser build with Titanic and, you know, Runen and all of that stuff. Hey, Shmion, we are literally watching you right now. Very good farm, by the way. Obviously, you know, was even with Vladimir, but because of that roam, the farms dropped a little bit to the Vlad, but that's fine. Nash's first item. If I actually can ask you a question, Smeon, he's literally arrived in chat right now. The decision behind going Nash's over Wit's End against one of Vlad, you're going to get ganked by an Echo, and also potentially ganked by a Fizz. Was there a reason that you were like, you don't need Wit's End, or do you not like Wit's End? That would actually be something that I'd like to ask. But again, the scaling is there. Vlad's obviously got his mythic, but he's gone back. And now Shmion probably just might start... Well, he's going to be gaining level 11 very soon. And this is the thing that, you know, is very nice. That, you know, I would love to jump on Kayle and get a relatively smooth game to level 11. But has had a relatively free level 11 experience. 2 level 11 experience. That's fantastic. Has done well with, obviously, getting away from echo ganks and stuff like that. The Vladimir hasn't punished the Kayle too much, let's be honest. But to get to level 11, to be in relative contention with the Vladimir is actually very good. So Shmir says, yes, I went Wits second because going Wits early got nerfed levels 1 to 12. Okay, so there was actually a cognitive thought that Wits did get early in the early levels. Do not get Wits early because it got nerfed in those levels, and that's why. Okay, there we go. Thank you very much. Again, that does make sense because the item itself has got weaker in the early game. So now you're actually seeing Shmion actually kill the Vladimir. He didn't W, mistake by Vladimir, but very nice kill by Shmion. And what you're noticing, and this is a big part of people say, like, how do you improve at League? How do you climb? What's the difference as rating? Noticing your power spikes. Kayle, level 11, first light. Ooh, bit greedy there, Shmion, buddy. Gets the ultimate off with then some autos. The Echo could be dead, nearly dead. Little bit of mistake there by Shmion by not ulting the, well, getting out of the stun or ulting it. But, you know, deaths do happen. You know, it is a thing. Fizz will die. There we go. But yeah, one big thing with, you know, like I was mentioning, is knowing what your power spikes are. Right? Knowing what your power spikes are and then using your power spikes. It's a big thing that a lot of players don't do. It's that simple. Draven's going to go over aggressive again and get killed. Yeah, that was... You did misplay then, Shmion. He's admitting it right now. But that's the point, is when you know a champ... Like, for example, my Anivia, right? My most comfortable champion right now, I think that's pretty obvious. Level 2, weirdly, is a power spike. Even level 3 if I don't need to take wall for level 2 E. When I get my rocket belt, power spike. Like, know your power spikes and go for it. Wits End, sorry, Nash's Tooth got hit by Kayle. Level 11, power spike. Try to get a kill. Like, that's the point, is don't just know that, oh, this point in the game on this champion, yeah, I'm a bit stronger. It's okay, you know, it's one thing knowing that. It's another thing using that. That's what you should be trying to do. You should be using your power spikes at any time. Every champion, to some degree, has power spikes. Some are earlier, you know, Renekton arguably has a power spike at level 2, level 3 without any items. Some champions like Jax could be level 9 with his first mythic. There's a bunch of, every champion has slightly different power spikes. Kayle's obviously is level 11. That's where you get the more AoE damage orientated, and that's usually also timed with roughly your first item with tier 2 boots. Use that power spike. You know, that's the thing. Amox him. So Vladimir does seem to have that kind of relative, I'm just going to split push playstyle. It's something that I've spoken about for many years, that I've always been confused about Vladimir's split pushing. He's a massive team fighting champion. He literally makes his team do more damage when they get affected by Hemoplague. So when I see split pushing Vladimir's, it does confuse me. Like, part of it, I will say, is not the split push mentality. It's the, dude, if I get free farm, level 16, crazy farm, I can carry the game. Which is true. But, you know, at this stage of the game, it's a relatively close game. Dragon is coming up soon, but Shmion does have TP. Fizz overextending just before the Dragon, so that's actually quite a bad play by Fizz. Are you going over to take a cheeky red buff here? I will say, I actually don't mind this. The reason why I don't mind this is there's a big play happening around Dragons coming up soon. Team fights are happening right now. Is your Kayn really going to go take that red right now? The answer is no. You know, it's just, it's not the priority in the game right now. So Kayle can take it on the way for a fight and then use that in the fight that's about to happen. That's completely fine. Anyway, here we go. Echo is walking a little bit too all in. I'd like a bit more aggro on the Renata there, because I do actually think she was out of position slightly. Nice W, misses slightly, but got her flash. Nice Kayn. Dude, that range of his ult was insane. Does look like that Draven might be a Kayn player, by the way, and Kayn does go down. Obviously, the negative of blue Kayn is he's literally with this build, he is incredibly squishy. Maybe a Kayle ult or something could have been around, but I think the Kayn was out of range, and it would have probably required a flash or something by Shmion, which, again, flash is very valuable on every champion, especially like a Kayle. So I don't actually blame him for not doing that. That will give the enemy the Dragon, of course, and Echo is now going for an invade. Does get spotted, can't go for this blue. Is now Shmion taking it, but Echo wants it. This is a mistake by Echo, I will say. He is going to go down. Oh, is he? Flash by Shmion, little bit. It does get the kill. That's really greedy by an Echo. And every time this happens, just reminding everyone, it's a Kayle. You know, you shouldn't be giving a free kill to a Kayle at any regard. Kayle is a monster and will take over a game if given a lead. So that is, I would say, a mistake. That is also the enemy jungler. So what red team is doing, which is not bad, is using the fact that, oh, the enemy jungler died. That's a mistake. Let's try to do Baron. I'm not sure this Baron is on, I will say. If the enemy team comes over with a Vladimir ult with a big fizz ult, like the max range fizz ult, that is scary. And, you know, that isn't very hard to do. You just throw it into the pit. Here's the fight. So Kayle, sorry, does ulti. Big Draven damage. Kayle in the pit does get killed, unfortunately. Draven, though, going to go down. And now the Baron will be complete. Fizz, though, coming in really late in the fight, does also get killed. And that is a complete wipe for... Oh, no, not yet, actually. The Vladimir. Oh, and then the... Okay, it's not a complete wipe. Forget what I said. Pyke should just focus on surviving because, again, they don't have any other person that survived with it. You want to try and keep the buff at least on one person. Echo would be quite wanting to kill that Pyke to get rid of the Baron buff completely. But there we go. So it was an okay fight. Was made a little bit messy in the end there. But, yeah. Okay, so I will say the Kayle ulti was quite, I don't know, it wasn't bad. It was a bit early, but maybe the Kayn was going to die because he's very, very squishy. Not sure what the Pyke can really do here. He doesn't seem to be very strong at all. Lulu actually seems to be doing okay damage, weirdly. And there we go. So Nash's complete. I presume next item, AXO Bite. It could be a Zhonya angle, potentially. Zhonya's would never be bad, especially if you're not prioritizing your ult on yourself as Kayle, because, you know, if you're ulting somebody else, you makes yourself kind of vulnerable, so it wouldn't be a bad angle, especially that the Draven is doing a decent amount of damage at this state of the game. They do have Baron, though, with Pyke. There could be grouping going on, but Kayle Shmion will want... Oh, yeah, it could be Mythic, actually. Good point. Could be the... whatever the hell... the Omni-Vamp item. I've literally forgotten what it's called. Yeah, level 16 will be on Shmion. Riftmaker, thank you. Level 16 will be on Shmion's mind. He's level 14, nearly level 15. Pretty damn good leveling, by the way. By level, 22 minutes to be level 14 is actually pretty good going, especially on Kayle, who is known to be, a weaker early game champion that a lot of the time you're having to give prio away in lane phase. So Shmion's done a really good job with staying up there completely with the Vladimir. Not too bad, not too bad really on farm as well, considering Shmion has out-roamed the Vladimir. This Vlad has not roamed. Shmion roamed a couple times in lane phase, so that is pretty good going. Big fight in mid lane actually right now, and that doesn't seem to be going too well. Fizz with the double kill. Triple, they're getting tower as well. I will say, just personally, I do think it's a mistake by the Kayn to go blue when you already have a Pyke mid. That's kind of like, your assassin angle is done. There's a big fight happening in bot lane. Sorry, I was missing most of that, but it does seem that Shmion is winning that quite easily. The chase angle's on, and I don't think it should be. They've given up in Hib, and now Shmion's returning to bot lane. Again, really just focus on that level 16 at the moment. Obviously, don't overstay, because now the hordes are coming. So we will get out of there. They are getting a nice little cheeky shutdown. The enemy team is looking for the Kayle, but Shmion will be out of there in time, which is pretty good. Is going, obviously, for Riftmaker. Third item, that is good. I just kind of forgot about that. But unfortunately, and that's the point, is when Shmion is a decent amount of their strength, if Zeri can't manage to get a good team fight or something, enemy team just kind of walked over red team and actually just got an inhibitor from that last push. Is still taking reds is Shmion over the Zeri. Again, you could argue Zeri's going back right now. I may as well take it. It also gets me closer to level 16 because buffs also give XP. So I see the angle to it. Just I would always be, wary. Is that going to really annoy my AD carry that I'm taking red? It might, but the thing is in specifically higher rating like Diamond 1, Diamond 2, most players know kind of mentally, what the game is about and who the strengths are, and no one's going to be upset that you're making a Kayle stronger. Kayle is a very good champion, very strong champion, so putting stuff into a Kayle that is also 421, 200 plus farm, that's not a bad thing. Fizz in the area was looking for an engage there. They actually... Wow, Vlad gets one comboed, it looks like, by the Kayn. That's really bad by Vladimir. And here we go. So, will they get there? Whoa, big steal by Shmion! How the hell did he get that? Echo going early into the fight. Big autos coming through. Renata ultimate coming down. Doesn't actually hit anybody. That's really bad by Renata. Kayn's going to chase down the Echo. Will kill the Echo by the looks of it. Bad flash, though, never mind. And there we go. With the CC, Polymorph, the Fizz is being counted. Pyke mucks up his ultimate. No, he doesn't. It's more that he got Zhonya's off. Kayle, though, is flanking. I don't really know what that was about. He has killed the Fizz. Ulti onto the Draven, into the double kill, into the Renata. Really clean play. There we go. And Shmion himself just said in chat, because obviously I was saying about the red buff, etc. He actually said, I'm very selfish on Kayle. And that, honestly, I don't think that's a bad thing. And yeah, he TP'd, by the way. Again, just to say, that fight, he did TP flank to get in the right position behind the enemy team. That was really good by Shmion. Well done. And that's the thing. He's admitted in chat right now, he's very greedy, very selfish on Kayle. And there are some champions in League, you want to do that. There are some you don't. And there's also different times that you want to be or not. Like, for example, a Lee Sin in the early game. Oh, Pyke gives the blue. That's nice. A Lee Sin in the early game can be partially selfish, take a lot of kills in the early game to start snowballing. But by the time you hit level 8, level 9, level 10, try not to take every kill. You know, lessen your selfishness. You've done the snowballing early and start giving your kills to if you've got a Jinx or a Zeri or an Aphelios or whatever, or a Victor in mid lane. It's kind of like adjusting to the time in the game, you know. But Kayle, that's the thing, is a late game hyper carry. You always want to be selfish on Kayle because you are the hyper carry. You know, in the early game, take a kill if you can get one because you probably shouldn't really get any. In the late game, well, again, you're a hyper carry now, so carry. So level 16 has been hit, massive power spike. So we spoke about the power spikes early. Use your power spikes. So now you'll notice a shift in Shmion. You will probably, if I'm bold in saying, probably not really see Shmion side laning anymore because level 16 has been acquired. 3-item power spike, Omnivamp, Riftmaker has been acquired. This is now grouping time. So that's the point, is everything so far we are seeing is very clean, very nice, and everything that I would expect a good player on Kayle to do. So really nice to see. Baron is up, by the way, which I wouldn't just randomly go for if everybody is alive. You could probably try to do it a little bit early well, honestly, probably not with blue. Auto's coming down, half health the Echo, engage happening. Draven just got absolutely wrecked. W by Blue Kayn finished off the Draven, and that's just right away going to be a win angle of a fight. Lulu is very close to death, but I think she's okay. Vladimir, ooh. Lulu should have done something to try and... I don't know if she had shield up. Oh, he gets the Hex Gate. Shmion recognizes don't chase overly. He's even pinging his team, which is correct. I'm just going to push. We've got number advantage. Let's use it. Push the mid, open up the base. Really good. Everything I'm seeing. And this is the point. Some of these, like, watching viewer videos, I don't know what the enemy team is doing. They're being overly distracted. Their base is being opened. That's really bad by chasing in their own territory there. But some of these viewer, obviously, spectates, partially are going to be, you know, when we're doing the lower rating ones, it was going to be probably a lot more educational focused. Nice kill on Fizz. It's going to be a lot more educational focused of, like, saying things that could be different. But when we're up in these kind of higher rating viewer spectates, what's there to say? Look, there's a Kayle that's starting to go nuts, everybody. It's late game Kayle. And he's played it well. He did lane phase very smooth. He side laned at the right times to get to the level 16 as quick as possible. Everything was good. That was really good. So well done, Shmion. You'll be back in Diamond 1 in no time. And obviously, this is Shmion's, I think, secondary champion. I think Yone is his first. But there we go. 10-2-3 on Kayle. 254 farm. Highest farm in the game. Just finally beating out the Vlad. Obviously, it's worth knowing, you know, the Pyke was struggling this game. 78 farm. I know Pyke mid isn't known for farming, but that is pretty bad. But anyway, that's going to be it. If you guys did enjoy, please do throw a like on it, throw a comment, throw a subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.